Hey guys, Michelle Emma here from Pilates with me, and today I wanted to bring to you more of an educational video in which we discuss our hip flexors. And hip flexors are a group of muscles that are responsible for the flexion of our hips as well as the upward movement of the leg towards the body. In this video, I'm going to show you a few movements on how to stretch and lengthen the hip flexors as well as how to strengthen these hip flexors. So go ahead and take a look at what muscles are involved. Two of the main hip flexor muscles are the psoas major and the iliacus, which together form the iliopsoas. Hip flexors are major contributors to our lumbar spine and lower back stability. If we have tight hip flexors, then this tends to cause us pain in the lower back, which in turn impairs our performance. Hip flexors are also powerful muscles used in explosive movements such as jumping and running. So sitting for long periods of time, not only shorten those hip flexors, but also weaken the hip flexors. So in this video, I have given you guys a number of movements that you can use to help stretch, lengthen, and strengthen your hip flexors, which is going to improve the overall health and function of that hip flexor. So all you're going to need for this one is your roller. You start with lying all the way on your back. You lift your hips up, you place the roller just underneath that PSIS, so those bony points of your hips. You're going to start with trying to hug your one leg all the way into your armpit and then stretching the other leg all the way down. Try not lift it up. Obviously, some of you who have really, really tight hip flexors might not be able to touch the ground, but try and push that foot down as much as you can, hug the leg in and just hold for a good 20 or 30 seconds, and then you swap it over to the other side. Next one, you need your roller again, and you're just going to place it parallel to your body. We're going to place bum right at the end of the roller, and then you're going to roll all the way down onto the roller, but you want your head to be on the roller. So obviously, if you're a little bit taller, you scoot yourself down until you're resting your head comfortably on the roller. From here, you're going to try and grab hold of the one foot, and you're going to try and tuck it all the way under. Your knee has to be comfortable here, and you're going to try and keep it in an imprint. So you flatten your back into the roller and feel that lovely stretch. Just hold it for 20 to 30 seconds. You're going to feel quite a nice stretch all the way down that quad. And then you release it and you swap it over to the other side. Just be aware that one side might be a little bit tighter. Keep your imprint, hold that for another 20 to 30 seconds, and then just release it. So with this one, you don't need any equipment. You're going to move the one foot forward, and you want it quite a bit further forward than the knee so that we can get into an imprint and push into a nice hip flexor stretch. So you want to use this bum cheek over here, and you want to really squeeze it, pull belly button to spine, and push into it until you start to feel some kind of stretch happening here. Maybe you also feel it in your lower abs, which is a part of a hip flexor as well. You can either use this as a static stretch where you just hold, or we can use it as a dynamic stretch where we release and push, release and push. You can also add in a little bit of a side bend. So as you push it forward, you side bend, you release, push it forward, and side bend. Again, you can just hold it, use it as a static stretch, taking deep breaths, tummy pulled tight, hold for about 20 or 30 seconds, release it, swap it over on the other side. So this one is exactly like the previous one. We're just adding on a little bit of a raise in the back foot so that we can get more of an extension into that hip flexor. It's only done if you're flexible enough and if you want a deeper stretch. So I'm going to use a chair. I'm going to use the bar of the chair. You guys can use roller, pillows, or even a wall really works. But basically, you're hooking that back leg onto your support, you're moving that front foot forward, getting into your imprint, and then pushing into that hip flexor stretch again. You can either use it as a dynamic stretch, or you can use it in a static stretch. Hold for 20 or 30 seconds, and then repeat it on the other side. So these ones are lunges. You're taking the one foot forward, and then you're taking the other foot quite far back so that you can already kind of feel a stretch. I mean, you can even just hold this and it stretches. But we are going to do a dynamic movement where you just relax the hands to the side, and all it is bending into the back leg, lifting those arms so that you feel a stretch, and then leaning forward, relieving it. You do that a few times, reaching into it, pulling belly button to spine. It's the downward movement that you're actually going to feel a stretch, and you really want to squeeze that back bottom. Do a few of those and then repeat it on the other side. So this one is a progression of the previous exercise. We're just elevating the front foot. So you can use your roller, and we just get into that same position, find your balance, squeeze your core. It's a lot more difficult, and then all you're going to do is lean back, reach it into that stretch, really pushing the hips forward towards the front ankle, and then you lean forward. Just do a few of those, trying to keep your balance, and then release it and repeat it on the other side. This one is a major progression from the previous exercise. So now we're just going to be elevating the back leg. So you can use a chair. You're placing your front foot as far forward as you feel comfortable. Back foot can either point or tuck toes. You're going to get more of a stretch if you're tucking your toes. You're relaxing the shoulders, hands to the hips. And again, we're coming into a lunge and a lift. So as you lunge, you're going to really feel that pull, squeezing your bum, lunge. You can hold a chair if you want to. Do it a few times on the one leg and then repeat it on the other. The last three movements are strengtheners, which means we're going to be gaining muscle to get that control, which in turn helps with your mobility, and it also helps with your flexibility. So what we're going to do for the first one, you are going to sit flat on your bum. If you need to do a little bit of a raise, grab a pillow. We're going to either grab onto the bent knee, one leg straight, one leg bent, or to make it a bit more challenging, we reach the arms forward. You're flexing that foot, locking the shoulders down, and you're going to exhale to lift and lower, lift and lower, trying to keep the back and that knee as straight as possible. You're going to do 10 of those, and then you're going to hold, and we're going to pulse it up for 10 reps. Hold and relax it. Swap it over on the other side. Do as many sets as your hip flexors can manage. This is the good old dead bug, which really gets into those hip flexors. So we're going to get into an imprint, legs to tabletop, knees together. You can use a pillow, you can use a redondo ball, you can basically use anything in between your hand and your thigh. But if you don't have anything, then just your hand and your thigh is perfect. So I'm going to take my right palm of my hand onto my right thigh. I'm imprinted, I'm pushing into it, and then my left leg and my left arm are the ones that are extending and bending. You're trying to keep your imprint, really pressing into that right thigh 10 times. Hold it up, swap it over, do 10 times on the other side. Hold it up, push both hands into both thighs, flattening the back for 10 seconds, and then release it. Try and do that for 2 or 3 sets. Okay, so here's your final hip flexor strengthening exercise. You can use a loop band, you can use a flex band folded in half, But either way, we're going to put it around the ball of the feet, not the ankles, the ball of the feet. You're going to lay down flat onto your back. You're going to try and keep your imprints. When people generally straighten their legs, they kind of pop into the back, which is fine as long as you are engaging and making the pelvic floor solid. You're going to just relax the shoulders, take a deep breath in, and then on your exhale, try and pull one leg as close to your chin and chest as possible. Do it 10 times on one side, and then 10 pulses, release, swap it over 10 times on the other side, 10 pulses, release. Awesome, guys. I really hope that video helped you, and I do understand that it is quite difficult in the beginning, especially if those hip flexors are not on top form. So please remember, take it one day at a time, do what your body can, and also practice definitely does improve. So keep the chin held high and keep pushing forward. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.